Alright guys, it's been a while since I recorded. I got the windshield out a few days ago and it was a real pain, but I got that new wire and it held up way better than the old wire. And there's this plastic metal piece that for some reason is behind the windshield, and when you saw through it with the wire, it tends to wear it down and snap it. As you can see, I finished up the floor, kill mat, I got the dash in and some of the panels, and I still have to roll the roof with the rubber roller, but it's overall pretty good. And I was mocking up a seat. I might end up getting, for $200, PRP makes sliders difficult to mount the seats and center them and make sure they're level. I tried to have these, I made these mock-up pieces where I want the seat, but it's like off kilter sort of, so I might just end up getting the $200 ones, $100 per side, and it'll have a slider and be bolt-in and everything, and then I might just tie that into the cage. But what I'm working on right now is I just got this new belt in. It took me 3 tries to get one of these belts because I had to custom measure it with string and everything, and the one I got on right now is 79.9 inches pretty much. I measured 80 and that was the closest one. I think it's a 6 rib 2030 millimeter belt, and it doesn't really fit very completely good because it's supposed to go under that idler pulley, but I'm just gonna bypass that for now because it doesn't really do anything. So since I have that in, I should be able to start the engine. But before I do that, I'm gonna clean up the wiring harnesses and try to tidy it up so it looks not like a rat's nest. I'm not sure about this wiring that went to the compressor housing or whatever. It looks like it's just 2 wires. So I also bought a big box of different types of resistors and stuff. Mainly for when you take out the airbag, you need a 2 ohm resistor instead of it going into the airbag and then out. It goes through a resistor, which tricks the computer into thinking the airbag is still connected. And those 2 ohm resistors on Amazon, you can get a pack of 5 resistors for $5, or what I got is the like 20,000 different resistors assortment for like $15, so it's less of a scam. This thing, I might have talked about it before, it sucks. It has something to do with the fuel and emissions for these trucks. The hose for some reason is really nasty. If I touch it a little bit, it's like, yeah. It normally sits down there. I just moved it up a little bit just to get it out of the way. And since this isn't here, I could probably put it over here somewhere, and get this area where the shock packages go. I want to get that area cleared out a little bit better. And there's just a few other wires that I need to take care of. What I'm working on right now is this connector that is a complete waste of space, and it's just a misengineered part of the harness, I guess, because it literally sits like this and then connects, and then you have a bunch of wires hanging out of the wire harness when it should just be inside this loom. So what I'm gonna do is cut all this stuff off, as there's no reason to have a connector for no reason right here, and I'm just gonna wire them together, and it'll clean things up. And I plan to zip tie everything like this, and that should be good. I might even start mounting the suspension today, just to see if this plate will be all good, and mock everything up and hopefully get those in there. I probably need to buy a new battery because this has been sitting for like a year. It's an O'Reilly's battery, which it was never really good in the first place. Barely ever start the truck. So I'm probably just gonna get an Optima, run it behind my seat or something. But I'll have to do some research and see if that's safe and everything. Alright guys, so I cleaned up this harness. It looks pretty nice now. And now I'm messing with this this ridiculous mess that connects to the brake sensor that controls cruise control, and it's like they used 6 feet of wire for it just to go to here. Look at the rest. That's just absurd. So yeah, I'm gonna fix that, make it not 6 feet of wire, and yeah, make it look nice and fresh. Alright guys, so it's the next day. I'm going to attempt to start the truck in a second. Hopefully when I turn the key, things light up and the engine starts when I want. So yeah. Alright, so I turned the key and the windshield wipers were like going off for some reason, but everything's on. I think I'm going to turn the key and hope that everything still works. Please turn on. Fuck. Come on, baby. Yeah, dude. Alright, so I cut the holes in the frame, and if you look, it's still a pretty tight fit, but you could see how much that this upper goes into the frame. Nearly half of it is inside of the frame. I cut it a little bit bigger on this side, and I need to cut more on this side. And then for the rear one, it has plenty of space. So what I did was I got a 2-inch hole saw, and I just cut a hole, and then I notched the rest out with a grinder. But then it was still rubbing, so I took some material off of the top of here with the angle grinder, and now I'm just gonna where this red line is, I'm just gonna add about a 1/4 inch more room. It is finally getting the full travel out of this uniball instead of bottoming out on my frame, and this will help because I can strap it lower to where it won't bottom out the uniball, but it won't be contacting my frame also. So I'll be getting more travel in the end. Alright guys, so I haven't been filming in a few weeks. When I last recorded, I was doing these upper arm cutouts. I don't really know what to call them, but I was doing those, but on the other side, and got those done. And then what I've been working on lately is this engine cross member, and it is made out of, I forget what the thickness material, but it's the one under 1/4 inch. And as you can see, the top part of that is still intact. So what I did is notched out a piece from the bottom, like I made a triangle and then bent it, and then the top is just like that, which is really cool looking to me. I believe KDM, I forget their name, I think KDM Fabrication did one like this on their Instagram, and that's what I got the idea from, instead of a bent tube, because for one, I don't have a tube bender, and I also like this style more. But I just got it welded in. This is pretty much a 2-day process for me. I'm surprised I actually finished it that quickly, but that's what I did yesterday, and the day before was I made that. And in the meantime, while I was making that, I pretty much got my full interior done. When I last recorded, I probably had one seat mocked up with these hard mounted seats, and I decided to go with a different route, because it would be kind of difficult to square everything up and get it perfect first try when, I'm changing the steering wheel and all this stuff. So I decided to put them on sliders. And another thing about this is that it's just nice to have sliders, because you have flexibility with passengers and things like that. So I went with the PRP sliders, which aren't too cheap, along with the I just decided to get everything PRP, because why not? So everything matches, which is pretty cool. One thing I made yesterday also is these subwoofer brackets, which hold the subwoofer square for the most part. So that's pretty cool. It's a little bit hard to film in this low light, because the garage isn't open or anything, but so that's all taken care of. It's pretty much ready to be put on its own weight, but right here, what I'm going to be doing right here is notching some lines and stuff. Basically this will slide in to these slots when it's all cut out, and then I'm probably gonna drill some holes in it where each inside of this is, and that'll make a very nice, it'll strengthen it up very nicely. And so that's the plan on both sides. And then I need to put the frame plate on, and I was thinking about putting a tube from there to the top of there to strengthen it up a little bit, but this isn't going to be seeing much, if not any, side to side movement, so I'll still have to think about it. I would like to, but it just seems like a difficult process, because this arm goes up and I might have to make it weird, but So yeah, this is, I mean, the truck could be on its own weight right now. I could pretty much drive it right now, except for the doors aren't able to be closed yet. And I'm gonna attempt to cut where this tube is, cut it out so the front door will shut, and then if that works out, I'll run the stock panels, which look pretty good with the dash like that. And then for the rear, I'm not gonna spend my time cutting all this stuff out. I mean, I don't know, I might, but all the clips and stuff broke when I took it out. So, I don't know, and I don't mind it, the look of it like this. It looks kind of good. Well, it doesn't look good, it's not bad. But, I'm gonna have to cut a little hole right here, and then the main thing is this bracket comes into contact with right here. And so I'm just gonna have to cut that off. And then I don't know where the oh, here's one. And then for this, I'm just gonna like cut it where that bend is probably, and then weld it on, and that'll be where my door shuts. Unfortunately, it's not like the older Rangers. Well, there's pros and cons to this style door, but the older Rangers, the door doesn't open, which makes it harder to put a cage in, but easier to deal with this sort of stuff like this. There isn't really a reason to have opening rear doors in these trucks, in my opinion, even from factory, but like this, it could be nice if I had like a cooler or a lunch bag or a tool bag or something back here. I could still reach in and get it instead of it being closed off and just the front seats. So I have to do that on both sides, and I'm sure that'll turn out pretty nice. Since I got a new steering wheel, I have no cruise control with that new one, and I found something online, a cruise control switch, and I think it'll work really good. I haven't really messed around with it. I'm waiting to build a center console or buy one, but basically this isn't made for this truck or anything. It's universal, but the buttons are the same exact buttons pretty much. So I'm thinking that this won't be very hard to wire up. This side buttons, I'm pretty sure these are all one button, maybe, not really sure. But you can, if I remember correctly, if you turn it on and then you can hit any of these buttons, I'm pretty sure, and it'll do the same thing. But don't take my word for that. That's just what I remember. So really, it's just an on-off button, and then usually I hit the set acceleration, and then so this should be pretty easy to wire up. See, it says coast, where the coast is, set, you know. Then there's the reset, and then the on and off button. As for the airbag, I don't really want an airbag light, and right now it has one. I'm not sure if it's because that one's out, but the airbag controller is right there. And so what I did for this side airbag was take out the connector, and then at the bottom it's gonna be a little bit hard. Oh, there we go. At the bottom right here, it's gonna be a little difficult for me to see. Oh, here it is. Usually this clips into a mount somewhere up there. I can't really access it right now, But under this is the airbag switch I've looked at online, and these are the two wires that everyone talks about, the brown and orange and then the white and gray. And what I did was I got a pack of resistors. This was a 2.2, I believe. I just attached the two sides, and it should turn the airbag light off for this side, and then that side I'll probably end up just putting the old airbag in, because I don't know where to dispose of an old airbag like that, and I'm sure you can't sell that online. And plus I want the stock cover on it, so yeah, unless I could figure out a way to retain the cover of the airbag and then remove the actual airbag itself, that'd be an ideal situation. But again, I don't know how to dispose of one of those, and I haven't put research into it. What I'm gonna be working on next, probably not today, is making some seatbelt mounts that probably attach right in this corner, and then the other side can go to this bar back there, and then some mounts that either go to there or I could also use the, I don't know where it is right now, but there's a harness bar that came with the cage that doesn't quite fit that great, but I might try to use that. But that goes where this junction is, and I want it to be level with the seat, so we'll see about that. I'll probably just end up attaching it to the back, so.